Well, buckle up, chaos merchants, because Manchester United's trip to Brentford on the 27th of September was one of those matches that perfectly illustrates the chaos of football. The Bees ran out 3-1 winners, and honestly, it could have been even more dramatic if a few bounces had gone differently. Let's untangle what happened, why it happened, and where the biscuit crumbs really fell. The fast start United came in needing to show backbone on the road, but from the whistle, they looked like a team trying to find its own rhythm in someone else's band. Within 20 minutes, they were already 2 goals down, and not because Brentford did anything outrageously complex. It was about sharpness, structure, and taking advantage of United's blind spots. Brentford, under new boss Teak Andrews, were sharper, hungrier, and tactically rigorous. The Bees played a 4-3-3, pressed hard, and leapt at transition opportunities. They knew what they wanted, and United gave it to them. Igor Thiago, not a household name outside the Brentford fanbase, suddenly looked like a superstar. His opener was about timing and ruthlessness. Brentford's midfield spotted United's back three pushing up in ragged fashion, slipped a ball in behind, and Thiago did the rest. Classic striker's finish. 10 minutes later, United were asleep again. A cross wasn't dealt with, the rebound fell kindly, and Thiago made it 2. That's the thing about Brentford under Keith Andrews. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They trust the basics. Win the duel, play forward early, crash the box. And against a backline still trying to remember each other's names and roles, the formula worked. United's glimmer now, United weren't totally hapless. Benjamin Šeško gave them a lifeline with a goal just after the half hour. It wasn't pretty, more scrambled eggs than soufflé, but he showed hunger and gave travelling fans a moment to believe. You thought, right, maybe here comes the comeback. But it was more flicker than flame. The problem? Every time United pushed, Brentford seemed to find acres of space out wide. Dalot and Shaw were asked to stretch the pitch, but instead, they stretched themselves thin. Brentford's wingers, Schade, Lewis Potter, and later Ouattara, feasted on those gaps. If you're a United defender, it felt less like a football match, and more like trying to hold back a tide with a packet of rich teas. The penalty twist. Then came the pivotal moment, the 76th-minute penalty. Bruno Fernandes, captain, talisman, the man United fans rely on when the roof caves in. Nathan Collins had clipped Šeško. VAR got involved, and we had this ridiculous, drawn-out delay. 4 minutes of waiting, bickering, and psychological unraveling. By the time Bruno finally put the ball down, you could almost sense the tension had congealed. He stepped up and missed. Brentford's came in Kelleher, cool as you like, guessed right. And with that, whatever United belief was left, dissolved like a biscuit in hot tea. This wasn't just a missed penalty, it was a missed moment. A goal then, and the last quarter of an hour becomes a siege. Instead, Brentford breathed, reset, and went back to their aggressive plan. The finale. As the clock ticked into stoppage time, United were huffing, Brentford was still biting, and Matthias Jensen decided he fancied some glory. From distance, he thumped one past Onana. 3-1, and job done. The Gtech Community Stadium roared. United's scalp was sealed. Brentford had not only beaten United, they humiliated them at the death. United trudged, and the Bees buzzed off with 3 massive points. How did it happen? So what really drove this result? Let's break it down. Defensive fragility. United's back three looked like strangers at a bus stop. Maguire and De Ligt didn't trust the line. Shaw was pulled out of shape, and Brentford kept sliding into the gaps. Brentford's clarity. Andrews' side had a simple, disciplined plan. Press the midfield, target the channels, exploit United's wingbacks. And crucially, they stuck to it for 90 minutes. The penalty swing. That moment changed the psychology. United had the door ajar. Bruno slammed it shut on his own foot. Substitutions. Amarin threw on Mainu, Euro, Xerxes, but it felt reactive rather than revolutionary. Brentford's changes, meanwhile, added energy and nuisance. Mentality gap. Brentford played like underdogs, relishing chaos. United looked like favourites, terrified of it. Cutting through the hype now. The headlines will scream, United humiliated and Amorim outcoached. There's truth in both, but let's add nuance. Tactics matter, but so do individuals. Fernandes missing from the spot, Dalot losing his duels, Maguire stepping late. These are player errors as much as coaching flaws. Brentford brilliance. Yes, but don't paint it as champagne football. This was about graft, clarity, and taking chances. It's tactical nous, not tactical wizardry. VAR villainy. The delay was daft. But blaming officials won't fix United's systemic issues. Some will say United were outcoached, tactically embarrassed. There's truth there. But individual mistakes and mindset cracks were just as culpable. Others will blame the referee, VAR and timing. Partly fair, but you can't pin a collapse entirely on external decisions. Then there's the narrative of Brentford as tactical geniuses. They deserve praise, yes, but they also rode momentum, deflected pressure, and defended stoutly when things got messy. For United, this isn't just a defeat, it's a symptom. If this keeps happening, away from home, under pressure, it's going to be harder to spin. The talent is there, but aligning it under a coherent system, mental toughness, and consistency is the missing ingredient. The broader context. Here's the thing. Both sides came into the weekend with just 7 points from 6 matches. This wasn't a top versus bottom scrap. It was 2 mid-table teams trying to punch upwards. For Brentford, this felt like a launchpad under a new manager. For United, it's another red flag. No away league wins, questions about their spine, and a style that still hasn't bedded in. And the vibes? United fans are tired of being promised control, only to be served up chaos. And not the fun kind. The kind where your biscuit falls apart in the tea before you even dunk it properly. Final thought. So, what's the takeaway? Brentford showed that organization, energy, and belief can still topple giants. United showed that talent without cohesion is just a collection of names on a team sheet. And for the neutral, it was messy, it was chaotic, and it was glorious. If you like chaos, this was a match to feast on. Messy, dramatic, flawed. But the lessons are clear. United can't afford to drift defensively, can't let momentum slip via inaction, and must demand sharper individual performances. Because next time, the margin for error will be even thinner. Football, eh? One week you're dreaming of titles, the next you're drowning in custard creams.